I was really struck by the camaraderie of the residents across the classes and residents with the attendings when I interviewed here. Coming from a medical school in New York where there's a bit more of this sort of hierarchy, I just really loved how residents weren't, afraid to hang out and talk with their attendings, and everyone just really got along very well.
Coming from Nashville, I think coming down here gave me the best opportunity of learning. You need to do surgery to learn surgery, and so coming down here, I think you get your hands on very early.
One of the advantages for your intern year is anywhere in the nation you have 6 months of non-ortho and 6 months of orthopedic training. Here at LSU, our non-ortho rotations are actually useful to our orthopedic education. For example, on your neurosurgery rotation for a month, you're at West Jefferson Hospital where you're working on pretty much spine surgery during that whole time. And so that spine surgery will translate into your orthopedic career later on.
Being able to treat patients hands-on early on and learn from repetition, seeing different patients, but I think it's also a balance. You don't just want to get thrown in to situations where you don't feel comfortable, and I think the senior residents and the attendings here do a great job of, they get you involved early on, but in the early steps, only doing kind of one thing at a time, and gradually you get to do more and more.
Our sort of home base is UMC, which is a level 1 trauma center in downtown New Orleans, and the volume of blunt and penetrating trauma we get there is really unmatched. When it comes to Baton Rouge, we work with a really huge orthopedic group. You're really learning every facet of orthopedics up there. Lafayette is our last clinical site. You really get sort of a one-on-one experience with that attending, and it's our site that everyone will agree you get the most autonomy.
To start off the back, we were very big on autonomy in the operating room, and that's something we've hit on a lot. Additionally, we have the ability to work with sports teams. So when I was a third-year resident, on my sports rotation, I actually got to work with the LSU football team. Additionally, we're in New Orleans, which is arguably the best city on earth, as everyone knows.
So we're in New Orleans, so our general clubs are amazing. You can't beat the food, you can't beat the restaurants, and our cadaver lab and grand rounds, not only are you learning the pertinent anatomy for what the grand rounds is, set on, but you also get to practice your surgical skills, a variety of different cases after we've finished.
I love the attendings here. Genuinely, I feel like everyone that you work with is invested in both teaching you, hearing kind of what your plans are, and being able to offer feedback on the spot. I think a lot of them are committed to increasing diversity, both in terms of ethnicity and in terms of gender in orthopedics. And for them to make that a priority that, is apparent to the residents, I think is fantastic.
So here we have academic and private faculty that we're allowed to and able to work with, which I think is very beneficial in having both. That's one thing that you'll have to choose when you're going out into practice is, do you want to do academics? Do you want to do private? So being at an institution that allows you to do both, you're able to see both aspects and see which one you mesh with, see which one you would like to do when you go out into the field.
The way research is set up is at LSU is you kind of come up with the ideas and you run them by your faculty. They are more than willing to help you throughout the process in terms of getting things published. What you'll find is when it comes to applying to fellowship, that research is very important, and it's important to have these experiences, and I think LSU is definitely supportive in helping you get there.
It's amazing how quickly you can soak up information when you're doing it just every single day.
LSU definitely met all of my expectations and more. I never imagined I would be doing some of the complex surgeries that we've done, and I've never thought that my knowledge base would be challenged the way it has, and I think it far exceeded my expectations, and it's a tremendous program.